Welcome back, friends. Lost Guy Friend. It's time for the vlog. And here's the why. And I'll relate to other things as we go. Why is my brain broken? Something I'm asking myself and I can't figure it out. Your brain can be damaged for multiple reasons. It can be genetics. You're born with it, which happens to plenty of people. They're born with mental issues. Another is, well, maybe an injury happened and my brain's not working out either. Or just experiences in life have caused these issues. We all have many mental hang-ups and many mental issues. The question is, what are they and what is the cause of them? And here we are wondering what are mine, because, well, obviously I'm talking about myself. This is the vlog. And I wonder, why do I hyperfixate on things or allow things to have such a hold on me? So I got to talk to a mental health person on Monday, and they're asking me a lot of questions and made me think about some things. Like, did you notice any just distractive tendencies when you were a kid? And like, no, not really. I didn't notice anything really until I was an adult. I also asked the same thing about depression. I didn't feel depression until until college. I never felt depression in high school. Once I got to college, things changed and I started to experience depression. That was a very weird thing. So, I was talking to this doctor because I wanted to understand what is going on with my brain. Because I wonder about certain things. Some things are aging. Like tip of the tongue, not really remembering things like that. Or being slow to react, that is partially aging. Scarf is recently 35 after all. But there are other things where I'm just trying to figure it out. So the four things they're wondering if maybe I have OCD. They're wondering about the PTSD, but that's confirmed. PTSD is confirmed. Depression is confirmed. They're trying to figure out ADHD as well. So those are the two new ones that they're trying to figure out if I have OCD and and ADHD, because I definitely have depression and PTSD. I could say I probably don't have OCD, or maybe it's a mild version. Oh, they're also going to try to figure out if I have autism. And so, because I don't always pick up on social cues, so they're wondering about that as well. But the problem is, guess what, America? You're all effed up. There is a lot of people doing mental therapy right now. They're so heavily booked. The next time I can talk to anybody is in November. And then they also want me to do like a full-on neuroscan, and that won't be available until May. So people are busy. People in the mental health industry are busy. It's crazy. Because I like to get some answers. I'm not going to get any answers anytime soon, because I'd like to know, what do I got? Because here's the problem with Scarf. Scarf is hyperfixation happens, where I'll get just stuck on a thing, and I just stay stuck on there. And nothing else really, as much as I try to drag myself to it, I have a very hard time doing it. This morning, I get an email, like, because of Grave, I wake up at 12, but I get an email that said this morning a package I ordered got delivered. It was a bunch of Kirby books, very rare Kirby books that are very hard to come by. I'm like, all right, check my front door. It's not there. There's no package there. Nothing at all. And I contact FedEx and like, yeah, wait a couple hours. If there's still nothing, then let us know. I'm like, all right. And they're like, okay, so we made a case. You'll investigate and you'll get answers in 5 to 7 days. Like, are you freaking kidding me? And so it's 4 o'clock now. So I spent basically 4 hours just spinning my gears, just sitting frustrated and just looking at random things, trying to figure out how I can find this package. And just, it's useless. It's just not useful. I'm so stuck on that. I finally yanked myself away so I can do this damn vlog, because I need to do it. I also need to do the second Kirby episode. I gotta do that. Finally drag myself away so I can do that. And it's such a hard thing to do, to rip myself away from something that's just grabbing my attention. It's very frustrating. That's why I wanted to see a doctor, so I could understand what the balls was this about. And they also want to prescribe medications, but I'm like, I'd rather we figure all this stuff out first before we just throw meds at it. I would really rather do that. Because they want to just throw medications at it right at the start. Like, can we figure out what I actually have first before we do that? Because we're playing with brain chemistry here. Come on now. It's going to be a long time before I find it. I get easily distracted things. There's times when I have to do 2 things at once. Like, to do anything. I have to multitask to do anything. It's a really weird mental hang-up that's bugging me. So I just have all these little things, or I'm easily distracted. The Kirby script, so Kirby Superstar is going to be 6 videos. Because I wrote out all the gameplay as storytelling, because I want to tell us a story, and then I'll tell you like little Easter eggs as I go, because that's the way I want to do it, because it's more interesting that way than me just droning on. And in this level, there's these things that happen, and in this level, these things happen. And in this level, like, here's the Easter eggs of this level, or interesting things about this level when it comes to the things. I could have droned on about just all the powers and abilities Kirby has in the game in a section. Instead, I spread it out to whenever we got it in the gameplay so that you learn about the powers as you go, instead of it just being this flat thing, this brick, because you could just easily just go to Wiki for that. Trying to make it entertaining in a different way. Edutainment. But I spent like 2 months writing this script. And there were random times when I was writing the script where I'm like, I'll check Twitter for something, and I get stuck on Twitter for a while. I'll check this, or I'll check that, and I just keep pulling myself away from it. Or I'm just running a game in the background while I'm playing it, while I'm writing the script, because I need to do 2 things at once. I'd really like to get a handle on that. I'd like to get a good grip on that, so I do that less. I'd like to be focused. That's the weird thing. I like to be focused on things that I want to focus on instead of get hyper-fixated on things that aren't actually that important, or things that I should just move on from because there's nothing I can do. Nothing I can do about this FedEx thing. The thing is, I bought these books on eBay, so it's not like I can just easily get a refund or get the items again from the seller. I gotta figure all that. I'm like, can you guys find anything out on your end or something? I don't know how long I should wait on that. It was just a cycle of just trying to figure out what the hell to do. And I was in it for way too long. It does cause, like, the distractions cause procrastination. Because the only reason why I'm doing the vlog now is because, like, there's not much time left before other things need to be done. Like, right after this, I'm going to have only an hour before stream to record Kirby's 2nd episode. Like, I'm giving myself no room here, because that's what I got into, where I was so distracted that I'm like, well, if I don't do it, I'm not going to be able to do it when I wanted to really do it, when I had all this ample time before. Apparently, because apparently this thing is like, that's where the doctor was like relieved, was I'm not so bad that I'm missing things that are important. You're saying there are people with OCD that's so bad that they miss work because of their OCD. I'm like, well, luckily I don't have that. I wonder, why is this issue? Why am I so distracted? Also, they said, well, something interesting what they're saying is, some things are from the depression, which I found interesting, like, because I'll double check, triple check some things. They're saying the depression does affect that, where you start to doubt your ability in things. So you have to double, triple check things. So that might not necessarily be OCD. That's might be just depression is affecting you. Anxiety is affecting you in a way where you lose belief in your ability to do things. So you have to double check, triple check things. Or you have to do things more than once because you're not sure you actually did it, despite the fact you just did it. Because you've just lost trust in yourself because of depression, which is very curious, very interesting in that. Because, yeah, I double-check that I locked the door, and sometimes I'll walk away and I have to turn right back around and double-check I did. Same thing goes with my garage. It's always closed. Every time it's always closed, but I always double-check anyway. I could watch it close, and then a minute later I'm like, did I? And then I have to turn around and check, and like, okay, and then I'll go back to what I was doing. I've done it so many times in my life. More recently than before, though, I think. Like, it's more recently I've done it so many times in my life. Like, the PTSD, I know where that came from. That came from, of course, the car accident. I got hit, and I get that one. The depression, I don't know. Like, did my... So let's think about that. Like, the depression, what caused that? Because it didn't happen until college. Was it because I was finally on my own? So, like, okay, my security is not as strong anymore because it's just me? I need to figure all this out on my own? Was that part of the cause of depression? Was it just my intelligence was larger there? So I had more things to think about, more things to worry about. going on in my mind, and that caused depression. Was it just the pressure of succeeding in college? Was that it as well, or is that like all these things could be contributing? It couldn't just be one thing. It could be all these things combined. I'm just wondering about that though. In my opinion, I think societal pressure to succeed has always been one of the biggest factors in my depression. And the other one is guilt, which is a very Catholic thing, which is also a very societal thing. America works very strongly on guilt, for sure. Guilt is something that is very strongly in the DNA of America. Like, yeah, there's a lot of guilting in America. There really is a lot of guilting through parents raising you, through religion, through just how society works. There's a lot of guilting people. Which is weird because we love the most shameless people when you think about it. We really love a-holes who are very shameless, who have no guilt. So it's a very weird society. Because I'd feel guilt on I'm just not as good as I could be. I'm not as performing as well as I could be. Or I'm not doing what society expects from me. I felt that for many, many years in my life. I have felt that I'm just not doing the things I'm supposed to do. Either I don't have the looks that are acceptable in America, or I don't have the smarts that I'm not as smart as I could be, so it just doesn't feel as acceptable. Or I'm just not I've always been socially awkward in that I don't always pick up social cues, and I'm noticing that. I've always noticed that, actually. I can't do these things other people do. I can't just approach people the way other people approach people. I've noticed that. And it's always bothered me. There's always been this wall of ice, like when they say icebreakers, literally a wall of ice between me and other people. I could feel it. I could actually feel this barrier between me and others. I can't just approach people the way others can. Yeah, just pressures of things I'm supposed to do socially as well. Like, for years, it just felt discouraging to not, be, I'd say after 20 something, because my parents married young, and a lot of people in the older generation married young. Just I'm 20 something, and I don't have a girlfriend, I'm not married, I don't have all these things, I don't have kids, I don't have a house, I don't have all these things, and I've always felt guilt and shame over that because I'm not meeting the American dream. Thing is, how many people actually achieve it, of course, but still, just feeling guilt and everything over that. And I'm sure not everyone has this, but for me, literal voices in my head telling me I'm not good enough. Literal voices in my head saying, you deserve the bad things that happen to you. A lot of very negative things. I have not had abusive people around me. I have abused myself mentally for a lot of my life. No one puts me down harder than I put myself down. Very, very unfortunate. I wonder why that is, and my best guesses are these societal things, where this voice in my head is the voice of society by my interpretation in my own head. How do I shut that up? How have I shut that up? By doing the things, honestly. By getting a job, I don't feel that pressure anymore. By making a good amount of money, I don't feel that pressure anymore. That's why I really, really, really would like to date again, because not just a date to date, but just, of course, looking for love, but I know if I find that, the pressure of that will not be on my mind anymore, because of course, why would it be there anymore? Of course, there'll be pressure of maintaining relationships, making them happy and all those things, but the societal pressure of you should be dating someone would be gone, because of course, well, there's no reason to have that pressure. It then has the pressure of, well, are you going to marry her or not, kind of thing, or are you going to have kids or not, kind of thing. But it's a less pressure. Because when I was at my worst, the times when I strongly considered, or actually attempted suicide, were when societal pressure was at its worst. It was when I lost my job, or when it came to, I guess, the physical pressure of just the insurmountable amount of pain I had from the accident. That was very bad. That was extremely bad. And I feel shame from having this injury and this scar from this surgery, which is weird because I have no control over that. It's a weird shame of bad luck. It's like, I got hit. There's nothing I can do about that. And that's when I really should, of course, not have. That's when I should let go, because I didn't have any control over it. PTSD makes it hard, though. These vlogs, the why vlogs, are me trying to understand myself. I'm trying to understand my own mind, trying to understand how I can grow or break free from certain things. I'm wondering, how do I do better when it comes to depression? And I think I've done pretty well these days because I have things that have lessened societal pressure. When it comes to these distractions, though, and everything, like, I keep wondering, is it ADHD? Is it something similar to that? What is it exactly I have? Because I have something. Like, are there different forms of ADHD? Because apparently there's not ADHD anymore, it's just ADHD is the thing now. I'm like, do I have this, or do I have some other disorder that is causing this need for distraction, is causing my inability to pull away from hyperfixation? Like, that's what I'm wondering here. And it's always possible it can also, of course, just be chemical. It can just be genetic. You can be predisposed to certain mental issues. That's also a thing that can be. And that's why I want to do that neuro study, but I gotta wait till May for that one. Also, it's very expensive, so I gotta see if insurance will cover it. If insurance won't cover it, then obviously I don't think I'll be doing it. Dad ain't got money. No, he's not that much money. Anything else to say with these whys? I don't know. I think that's it for exploring my mind and everything. Like, also, real quick, Ritalin. Ritalin was a thing you could get in college. A lot of the Asian students were utilizing Ritalin to hyper focus on studies. They would pull all-nighters using Ritalin, and that's how they would do it. They would just cram all this knowledge the nights before finals. I don't know if they remembered any of it after, but that's what they would do, and it was insane to see that. It's like, what are they doing? Oh, they're just sitting over there, and they've been sitting there for like hours upon hours and hours and hours, and they've just been studying and studying and studying, and it's just a crazy thing to look at that in a dorm and things like that. People crazy. It's just, oof. Also, yeah, Asian students trying to graduate in less than 4 years is nuts. Like, they try to graduate in 3 years. Like, you're cramming a lot of crap in your head trying to do that. Holy crap. It's cheaper that way, but, oh, it's cheaper financially. It ain't cheaper when it comes to, well, mental health and any of that, but, oof. I think that's all I can explore, at least for the time being in my mind, what I can think of to explore for my mental issues. Wondering why is my head broken? And of course, after the accident, they kept asking, did you suffer any head trauma? I was like, as far as I know, I didn't. No, you can also, by the way, you can stroke out. You can always have a stroke and your personality changes. Or you can have a really rough accident, brain damage happens, and you have just a different personality. Those things that can happen. And that is also a very scary thing. Phineas Gage, that very scary example of a man who had a spike went through his head. He survived it, but his personality completely changed. He could not control his anger and rage anymore. His inhibitors were destroyed. And that's scary, where you're a person who you can't control your emotions. That's scary as hell. And a stroke can do that. A stroke did that to my grandfather. He was a very kind man. And then the stroke happened. He was no longer a kind man. And he recognized that to the point that he just made it so that he made everyone leave him alone so that he could not lash out at others. Because he recognized that he was not the same person anymore. It was very sad. There's a downer issue, obviously, of course. Like, mental health is, of course, never really a chipper conversation. So here we have explored, wondering about what are my mental issues. And we all have things that we get hung up on. Not everyone does, though. Like, the example not everyone thinks about doing the worst themselves. Not everyone thinks about things like that. Some people are able to just persevere and always be on the positive side of things. Or they're able to just recognize the situation and move on. That's not the case here. Trying to, though. And trying to recognize that and be able to do that. And maybe in some cases I have, but there's plenty more cases where I haven't figured that out yet. So that is the vlog. I had fun. Hope you had fun watching, and that's what's all about it. Having fun. Thanks for coming by, and see you next time. See ya.